No
All
worries.
right, good morning, HRC. This is our February 28th meeting starting at 11:03.
Perfect. Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. And we have a quorum, so we will go ahead and call this meeting to order. The first thing on the agenda is to approve the minutes from the January 24th meeting. The only thing that I initially saw on there is just, and I think Samantha is going to address this anyway, but it did show non-present or absent, and it only listed Tia. And there was other people that were obviously not present since the other people that were there. Oh, and there's Miss Nina. Hi, Nina.
Thank you all.
So, I think and I think Sam was going to clarify on that too, what we're needing out of the minutes anyway. So if that needs to be adjusted, I think that was the only thing that I saw. Does that need to be adjusted for the minutes, Sam?
It does. And then I noticed in my minutes that at 11:29, Virginia Hudson joined in on our meeting. And so I was going to add at the end of attendees, Virginia Hudson, and then just the time that she joined us, if that's okay with the commission.
Yeah. Yeah. So the absentee people do need to be listed?
Correct. So we need to have a section of who is in attendance, and then we need right under that to put who is not in attendance. If I am incorrect, Becky, change that, but I am not going to go backwards and rewatch past meetings. We'll start February 28th and move forward with that, if that's okay with the clerk's office.
I mean, I think it's fine. Are you thinking that there were past minutes? Because I mean, essentially the minutes are the permanent record reflecting the business that was taken. So if you're thinking that there were issues in past attendance being recorded on those past minutes, I think it's something that should be fixed because that is the permanent record. So if I mean, for instance, in this set of minutes, you're missing some people who were in attendance. If you think you were missing other people who might have been in attendance on past meetings, I mean, I do think that needs to be fixed.
No, it would not be the ones that were in attendance. It would be the absentees. We did not put that on as a separate line item on our minutes. So I was not going to go back.
Oh, gotcha. So then that should probably be fine.
Okay. So we don't need to adjust those on the last minutes. We're good moving forward. Okay. So then can I get a move to approve what's the date? The January 24th minutes.
So moved.
I'll second. This is Helen.
And was that Meredith? Did you so move? Okay. All those in favor of approving the minutes, sing a beautiful song.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, minutes approved. Nina Falls, you have your hand. Oh, are you putting your hand up to vote?
Yeah, I was just saying, in case you didn't hear me.
All right, perfect. So just since this is a recording, and then Helen is going to watch this later and transcribe the minutes. So just for the purposes of her and getting it down, I'm going to run down a list of the members who are present, just verbally out loud so that make sure she can see all those clearly. So we have obviously Thad, and we have Lindsay Griffith. Everybody welcome our newest member, Lindsay Griffith.
Welcome, Lindsay.
Welcome.
Lupe Moy, Meredith Rose, Nina Falls, Casey Phillips, Zachary Mallory, and Helen Hurley are all present members. Those are the only ones for the minutes that need to be accounted for. Is that correct? Just the actual members? Okay. Perfect. All right. Next up on the agenda, we have Meredith presenting some event organizing. Take it away, Meredith.
Awesome. Good morning, everyone. Good to see your face. I am feeling good because the sun is out and the weather's supposed to be great all week. So hope you guys get outside and get to enjoy that. I am going to try to share my screen just really quick. Per our conversation last meeting, can you all see this email that says CSL continues to grow culturally? Yes. Okay. Yeah. So per our last conversation, one thing we said that would be helpful in event planning, thanks to Nina's expertise and some of the folks who existed, Lupe with the previous Human Relations Commission, we have some good annual observations and observances that we participate in, things that we support. This would be an opportunity to expand that connection to events. So in order to, I guess, preserve kind of the energy and not overextending ourselves as a Human Relations Commission to try to invent and create events or connect ourselves to things that we have to own, since we're all very busy and we're all volunteers in this capacity, we thought it would be great to have an understanding of what were already established heritage and cultural observations in the City of Independence that are being shared not only with the City of Independence, but some of the community partners. It's just a quick piece of history and kind of bragging on CSL. I'm really excited in my new role and working with a lot of you. Our diversity, equity, inclusion efforts, and having an office now that focuses on people and culture and connection to community. We launched this year what was called the Experience Community Series. Blinwell is a staple of that. And so Blinwell Community Cafe is a place where we wanted to invite people of all different affinity groups, backgrounds, heritages to feel comfortable in gathering, and not just for the sake of connection and gathering, but to share resources, to celebrate what makes that affinity group that group, and just okay, I'm back.
Okay,
I'm back. So what I was saying is we really wanted to make sure that we were branding as a community through this campaign, that the City of Independence was a great welcoming place for all cultures and affinity groups. Just to make sure you guys can still see that screen, is that correct? I didn't know if I lost it in the break. So really quick, these are the observances that we know both the city itself through Meg's office as well as CSL has decided to observe for 2022. Obviously, we're wrapping up Black History Month today. Tomorrow begins Women's History Month. CSL is going to take a different approach and actually tell the story of one of our own, and then feature several clients, community members, folks that have relationship and partnership with CSL. We're going to tell the story of women, different women all through the month of March. May is Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month. We will also be initiating, if you will, the Day of the Child. Some of you all may remember we have been doing that for a couple of years. The Human Relations Commission, I believe, participated and supported the Heritage Festival. And so the Day of the Child was kind of an offshoot of that. Many of the members continued to support that. Jennifer and her team and the Independence Ethnic Council will be bringing that back this year in May. Then in June, we will celebrate Pride Month. In September and October, we will again celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month. And then November, we will celebrate Native American Heritage Month. So the question or the ask to this group, whether it be through joining in CSL's efforts, whether it be giving you all this list of months and then taking the next a couple of weeks to think through and brainstorm what could be possible that the Human Relations Commission could do. And it could be as small.
Frozen again.
Forgive my horrible internet quality. So it could be as small as recommending to the council that we adopt a resolution each of those months, just to make sure from a municipal government level, we are asking our elected leaders to acknowledge, celebrate, and embrace these different cultural groups as well. So I'm going to stop talking there, try to get on a internet line that is more reliable, but just wanted to open that dialogue to this group. Any thoughts, any feedback, or do we want to just leave it in that you all take some time, think through and brainstorm if there's anything in particular we'd like to see this commission do in observation or in support of any of those months. So that's what I have for right now.
All right. Is there anyone to add discussion to this?
This is Helen. Sorry, I like the idea if we do take some time, but at a very minimum, launching the idea of having a proclamation each of those months coming from the city itself recognizing them each month. I just think that's such a neat idea and something that may seem small but is very significant.
Wonderful.
Wonderful.
So I agree. This kind of, for me, ties up what I was asking to put on the agenda, which is the review of the commission and structure. So it's kind of more of celebrating what's happening in our city right now and supporting all the other organizations, community members, committees, and having HRC support these things and help publicize those. So I think this list is 100% on point, and I would love it if our commission kind of just adopted this model of focus for these months.
So Thad, here is the formal action I guess I would ask that the commission be willing to vote on and accept today, and this is what I will champion for the Human Relations Commission. So to make sure we have a broad and best informed picture as possible in terms of which groups are already doing what, I would like to put together a very brief survey, probably 5 questions or less. And I would look to Sam and Becky to figure out how we could distribute it, whether it be on the city's website or an HRC member could just send it out and we all share the link. SurveyMonkey will allow us to do this, but I'd love for our different partners, I'll just use Inglewood Arts Association, for example, or Arts District. If they, in fact, are doing something for one of these months, every month, I would love for the organizations to submit details so that this HRC knows, and we could have a follow-up conversation with them to say, how can we be a part, even if it's just our endorsement, we commit to have a member there. You know, would they be willing to share our logo or our HRC symbol in concert with what they're doing? I think to Thad's point, the idea is that we demonstrate to our community at large that we've adopted these months, these observations are important, and we stand behind and support the recurrence of those things happening across the community. We can't do that unless we know about them. So I would like to ask the committee's approval to go ahead and orchestrate that survey and work with the city staff to be able to get that out, and then come back next month or the following month with some details about what we're learning from the organizations that are completing the survey.
Is that enough of a formal motion from Meredith, or do we need to have a formal motion for adoption?
Can I
survey?
Can I ask a question then? These are things that in the future are going to be adopted, this list. Will it include the things that we're doing now, like Martin Luther King celebration is in January? So should that be on the list saying that we would like to be part of all these things, or is that like a separate thought?
No, yes, ma'am. So I would adjust this working list. Obviously, this came out after January. It already happened. But what I would do is I'd list everything that we know of from January to December. I will already include things that we're a part of. And what I would ask the community partners who are completing it, I would probably have, whether it be check boxes or the radio buttons they can select, or even just a comment box. I would ask them for each of these months, how many, and check all that apply, do you currently support or participate in? And then in a box, please list the name of the event with a brief description of what you do in observation for that month. And then I'll have some introductory language explaining why we're asking, why the HRC wants to stand behind, and we're trying to collectively at one time understand the city at large, what we're doing each calendar year. So this would be the stamp, if you will, of the set observations that we know to be true every single year. It might change year to year as things get added, but I think to Thad's point, these are staples that we know need to exist as annual observances at this point. And then lastly, Thad, and I'll be quiet. So the motion or proposal is to give me permission to do the survey, but I would like to support Helen's idea with city staff guidance. How do we request or present a resolution or proclamation to the city council each month for the purpose of getting these acknowledged and recognized in the city?
All right. Sam, Becky, is that a formal enough motion that we can vote on for Meredith to move forward with this survey?
I would say it is.
Okay. All right. So we have Meredith's motion to move forward with the survey, connecting with community organizations and participating and see how they participate with all of this list that Meredith has brought to us of culturally and heritage observations by the month. All those in favor?
I second it.
Oh, you second it.
Do we have to second it?
Sure, do it.
Yeah.
Meredith brought up the motion, and Casey will second that motion. And so now, can we get a vote on this, please? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Thank you, Meredith.
You're welcome. Question for you, Sam, just real quick. So then in preparation, we've missed obviously today's meeting. Is it too late to form a proclamation recommendation for the following Monday? What is that, March? Is that the 7th, the 6th? The 7th, is it too late? Have we missed that agenda preparation?
Becky is very gracious with me when it comes to adding things late. So I'd like the commission to know that it is considered late. However, Becky, do you mind chiming in when it comes to proclamations and resolutions? I know there's been some changes and modifications with how we're going about them now. Can you ensure that we're not doing this incorrectly?
So, I mean, the commission obviously can put forward a resolution to the council. I will say resolutions and proclamations are different. Proclamations are specifically items that come from the mayor's office. So if it's the intent of the committee to have like a specific proclamation, I mean, you could submit a resolution to the council, but it's not necessarily necessary because it comes from the mayor's office. So that's kind of the difference between the resolutions and proclamations. If the idea is just, you know, getting the information out there and in front of people, a resolution is probably fine. I know, I'm trying to look at the list. I know in the past there's been a few proclamations that the mayor's done on some of these. I know Meg's been doing a really good job of promoting a lot of these events as well. So I think it's a good collaboration effort with Meg as well, because I do know that she has been putting a lot of effort in creating a comprehensive list on the various types of groups and celebrations throughout the year. So that might just be something to tap into for your guys' purposes as well.
Meredith, would you feel comfortable with once we come up with the list with January through December, providing that to Meg to get her and letting her and her team like take the lead on this?
Yeah, so the good news is this list came from Meg. We sit on the branding committee together, so we partnered on this. But to Becky's point, I think that's great. If all you need from the HRC is a formal email, maybe from that on behalf of the commission to say, you know, it is our request and recommendation that the mayor consider together with the council a proclamation in observance of each one of these, and we need to do them shortly before each month or just one now, that would be great. I think speaking on behalf of the commission, we just want to make sure we have exercised our voice and opportunity to make that request. And if the lift is done by staff and the mayor, that's great. So if you want us to initiate that email and you think that's helpful, we can do that. But I would absolutely say let the city lead that. Okay.
And then just so you know, it would be the month of, but it would be that first Monday.
Okay.
Generally, Becky, that's generally when we would do these.
Yeah, I mean, if it's a monthly proclamation, typically it would be the beginning of the month. I mean, something else that you might consider as well is, I know obviously we do proclamations and things like that. I don't know if it's the intent of the commission to have the proclamation read, or if it's just the intent of the commission to have the proclamation created and given to the respective organizations. So those are just a few details to kind of think about. Something else that might be supportive of the efforts is having the proclamations presented during a Human Relations Commission meeting to really tie it all in, but those are just a little extra things to think about from my side of it.
Okay, that's helpful. So I think what I'll do, if Thad, you are okay and in agreement, I can draft an email for you for the month of March, at least. I think the ask is, if time allows, that there's an initial proclamation that is read out loud by the mayor during a meeting. And then perhaps, since we've got April to take a break, this commission can come back next month and make a consensus decision on what we want to see for May, whether that be during the month of May, inviting the mayor to bring a proclamation and read it. So at least that'll give us a month to kind of frame what we want to do with the rest of the months. But I would like for the month of March to go ahead and, since we've already missed that first meeting, to request the mayor, if possible, to get that done during this month.
Can I also mention, as far as the Martin Luther King is part of our heritage. So that's why, even though that's a specific date, but I think Martin Luther King is part of our heritage, even if people don't want to think of it as cultural. So in January, I could at least put out there, if people would agree, that it could be Martin Luther King Human Relations Month. And the reason why I say that, because he made sure everyone connected. And that way, people can think of it as a month. Even though Black History Month may just be 2 or 3 things from different places, it's still under that broader umbrella as Black history. And I would like to propose that January could be Martin Luther King Human Relations Month. So people, maybe they will start doing more things, helping more people, doing, more connections than just that one day we do in the evening during his birthday. I'm just putting it out there because I don't want it to be lost in January, and a lot of people don't recognize that it happens. And it's more of a heritage thing to me. It's just something to think about.
Meredith, should individuals be emailing you of those items that they would like added? Or
please,
do you want it discussed now?
That would be helpful, because I'll need that to formulate the survey. And Nina, to your point, I think, Becky, we talked about this before. I think we established what was the calendar year for the Human Relations Commission, but we don't actually have an inception date or a month, do we? Like, we don't have a birthday per se, do we?
Oh, I've had a lot of sleep since we've had that conversation. I'm sorry. I'm not sure, but I can get the information to Sam, because for some reason, if my memory is serving me, it's like in the summer, maybe.
Well, we might need to just reborn the Human Relations Commission to James. But no, I think, to Nina's point, I think that's a great idea. And maybe in our next meeting in March or April, we can just kind of talk through, is it important to start especially as like a kickoff to the rest of these observances for the calendar year, would it be great to be able to spotlight what is a Human Relations Commission, whether it be, not only recognizing Martin Luther King Day, and obviously with a proclamation perhaps introduced by the mayor, but having some space on the agenda next January to really talk about why an HRC exists, what its purpose is, and then to introduce for that calendar year, so it would be 2023 when we do this, all of the observances that are coming that year. So I think your idea, Nina, has some good merit, and I think I've jotted it down for us to talk through perhaps next meeting. Really great idea. And I really do recommend that we just rebirth ourselves for January. Don't put that in the minutes. I think that's all, Thad.
Okay. Yes, I am 100% agreeable to you moving forward with that. I think that was where that started off with an initial, if I was agreeable, I am. So, wonderful. I think that's exciting, which brings us to our other point of review of commission and structure. So this is just something that it's all me. It's all for my clarification. Basically, because what I see is when we get to this paper, this document of our goals and our vision and a mission, all I see is the stuff that's not happening, and that gets my anxiety kicking, like we're not doing what we're supposed to be doing. But there's also a lot of stuff that we have done, and so just going over it for our mental focus of what for me what my focus should be. But having all this Heritage Month kind of really starts making that happen. It kind of aligns the vision, and basically it's like focusing on item number 2, which is to foster goodwill, cooperation, conciliation, and sympathetic understanding. And I really feel that HRC's role should be service. We should be of service to our community so that we can support our community and whatever, because all these, like we've already just talked about, all these amazing things have happened, are happening with organizations and committees that exist in independence. And so I think how does HRC bring that information to the public about all these things that are happening that are already amazing, and having HRC be that unified voice of the good things that are happening in our city. And I think that's more for my understanding, not necessarily everybody else's, just so I can have a clearer, more stronger vision of what I need my focus to be. Other than that, it's the events that we do. So under number 2, I just listed, so it says that we host an Independence Cultural Heritage Festival, which we haven't, and we haven't done that in a while. So I don't think that is going to be happening anymore. What I do like is, like Meredith said, let's support what's going on in our city. Like CSL is doing the Day of the Child, and let's support that, and things like that. And it also says that we are a co-host of the annual Martin Luther King event, and I do not believe that is correct. We just sponsored that award, the Humanitarian Award. Is that correct understanding, Nina and Lupe?
Can you hear us?
Yeah, yes.
You can't hear us and like that. Okay. Actually, I always said partnership with them because they are a coalition, and anyone that comes to the table is a partner in that coalition. And me and Lupe are always there. And we do it through, human relations. We do it because we're naturally on that coalition, whatever. So we are a partner going back when it first started. And the way it happened is John Oliveras. Everybody used to be so small, and it would be like 3 or 4 people doing things or whatever. And he was part of it in a heavy way. And he used to be the head of human relations. His name's Mr. John Oliveras, and he still does a scholarship for high schoolers, and it's still named after him. And like everybody says, things may change in the future, but I believe in giving recognition and homage to the past. I'm kind of like that. So we are kind of part of it as partners. That's what we are.
Well, where I get confused on there is that I don't know what that definition of partners is. And I think we need to have clear definitions of what our role is for this commission. What is the commission's role in this event? Not necessarily the historical and how it's all connected, because it is all very tightly connected and those lines get blurry. But I also know that at the event, Sarah Wimberly, I heard, she mentioned me and said, hey, here's your connection to HRC. And that just threw me a little bit off, because I'm just like, wait a minute, there's already 2 members of HRC on the commission. So that's where I get confused, and I don't understand what the role is supposed to be. So that's where I need these relationships of what the HRC is doing clearly defined. And if it's just our role is providing that a humanitarian award, that's great. But if our role needs to be bigger, I need our role to be bigger, and I need HRC to be brought to the table in planning and organizing. And if it's not, that's great. I just need an understanding. So as long as that understanding is there, partnerships and that's fine. I understand that we're all working on the same vision and same team. I just want to make sure that we're all in alignment on that.
And that's good to define this. This is the whole point. Independence is just a hodgepodge of all different people helping each other, and so that's why it all gets murky. But and what they do when they say this is the person, they always go to the top. They like recognizing the person at the top. You're the person at the top, so they go, here he is, here she is. They do that all the time, no matter if it's other people doing it. So I think Lupe, she'll have what she thinks and suggests on this, but what we do, we give the John Oliveris Award, we go to the podium and announce it, and we purchase the award. And different people have purchased it in the past. Things are murky in independence. That's how independence rolls. But if you wanted to define it, that's all you would have to do. Go and announce the person who receives, the Human Relations Award. Be connected to John Oliveris because he was head of Human, Relations. Just kind of know he exists. And get the award itself. And different people have done that over the years, just truthfully. So that's
right.
what I think. Lupe, what do you think as far as our connection?
Well, I think at our last meeting with Martin Luther King, Nancy didn't really recognize us. She said the Independence Human Relations is under the city because, so I didn't know what that definition was. And so I agree with that. We need to really define like what our role is, because we have two members on the committee. And what do you think?
No, I think that's great. I think defining like our actual role in that event is to provide the humanitarian award. So other than that, it's the committee, the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Is it Celebration Committee? Was that what it's called?
They call it a coalition, but it doesn't matter in the end.
They're the organizing body of that event. And it's just going to be one of those community things that we support and promote. So, okay. And then same thing for the, I see the skateboard tournament. Is it kind of the same thing for the skateboard tournament? Because it's been, I feel like, because in one of the emails you posted that you said they kind of have their own committee of organization that they're doing.
This is how that, like I said, we do great things and people don't always support it, and sometimes people do. The Parks Department does all the in-kind, and it's a lot, like, the bathrooms, the stuff in that. That's all they do. And they think of it as theirs because it's in their park. And that's the people that made sure that got built from a suggestion. But I believe in like community people being acknowledged, and the skaters, they take ownership of that. They clean that park up all year round. They do things. So I would be remiss to say, even though, it would be easy to say, well, it's really, the city's project and the Human Relations project, but that wouldn't be fair. And so that's why informally, they are the people that say, okay, can we do it on this day, Miss Nina? I have to work. They're important. And they do so much to make it happen. So it can be murky a little bit, but if I was to define it, it is in-kind sponsored city parks event that, for lack of a better word, that we partner with, because it gets no money, no anything, just in-kind gifts. And and then they also do our trophies, the City of Independence. But anything that we give to that community, Lupe, begs for, I beg for, another lady from another church, she begs for, it's a begging thing. So again, it's like great things happen and no one ever defined it, but it never went away. But I give respect to them because it's their neighborhood and they say what day, and they are the judges and whatever. So you see where I'm going with that.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I understand all that. But I still need that definition of who's organizing this event, who's responsible for putting this event on, kind of a thing. There's always going to be those community people that come in to that. But again, it's defining that role. So because I know it's you, Nina. I know it's you. You're the one that brings all the strings together and makes the web happen. And I know you're doing it with your heart, but I need to understand what hat you're wearing as you're doing it.
we could define that today, and then we'll move on past that one. It needs to be defined. The City of Independence does so much in kind. So I could say, but I'd rather not say till we get definition from Rebecca and Sam, but they probably would say, yes, they sponsor that. But again, they don't sponsor any prizes or anything like that. That's right. The things we go beg for. So we could come back to that one and see if Human Relations wants to be a actual person doing it too. You know, it could be two city entities that do it together. I don't want to say, because I don't want to mess up the momentum, as everyone says, of that. It's been happening a long time, and I don't want it to go away. And I also will always give respect to the skaters that help make it happen. So I don't know what to say to it right now. Can we come back to that one?
Yeah, we can, again, but I feel like in the events of organizing things got to start happening now, because that's going to pop up beforehand. And I also know there's other community entities that they want to be involved. Like Inglewood Arts, they want to be involved. They want to help make this. They loved the event, and they want to be involved. So I think for them especially, they're going to need to know that there's that organized structure that they can be a part of. And Nina, I'm 100% fine with right now taking a vote. Is this an HRC event?
Okay. And
saying yes, it is. So that way, Nina, we retain somewhat of that control over it to make sure that the skaters their voices that their voices are important. And so that way we're not giving it away to anybody else to say, hey, don't forget, we're saying, no, this is important.
Yeah, because if not, it'll go away if no one does.
Nina, are you okay if we say that this is an HRC event?
I'm asking you all if it's okay. Is you all more than you all me? Mm-hmm.
I think yes.
Okay.
I think yes.
That's what I just want to hear what the answer.
And that way, I mean, because we're kind of the city entity already. We're a city commission, and there's already another city organization involved in it doing the Parks and Rec. So, right. And I think as long as if the Human Relations Commission can be involved in it to make sure that the skaters are kept in mind and a part of the decision-making process, I think that's important. And also to be able to navigate and orchestrate those other entities that want to come and be involved as well.
I like to make a motion, and I don't do motions. I like to make a motion. Do we make a motion for it, or do we need to agree, then make the motion?
Make a motion, and then we can discuss it.
I make a motion that the skateboard tournament, it's kind of called the Heritage Skateboard Tournament, continues with Human Relations being the actual organizing body of that, along with a partnership with the City of Independence.
Well, I don't think we already are in a partnership with the City of Independence, so I think you can just leave it at we're the organizing body.
Okay, and I'll leave it at you're the organizing body.
For ease of mind, I want to say, don't feel as though this vote by HRC claiming this event is going to lose the support of the parks because they would feel as though it's theirs. I want to make that very clear that
okay.
Don't ease of mind. Don't go down that. Yeah, we're good.
Okay.
All right. Is there any discussion about Nina's motion?
You need a second?
I'll second it.
Oh, Helen seconds. Okay.
I do have a question, only because I used to work for the City of Blue Springs several years ago, and I know that around other municipalities, the model is, that kind of function is a parks function. I know this is uniquely different because it's appealing to a population and a group of folks that we want to support, uplift, and really keep the human-centered side of that. I guess my question would be for Sam, is if we gave the park, with this request, gave the Parks and Rec Department equal footing, would they have equal responsibility, accountability, and perhaps even budget, which I know is the nasty, dirty word, but would there be a possibility that we could enhance the event by giving equal footing for both HRC and parks to put this event so that content-wise, look, feel, touch, experience, we own that, but we get the benefit other than just the park of maybe some of the capacity and resource that the Parks Department could potentially have in the future. So when they're having budget conversations, this event is also thought about. Not that we actually have any money, or if we wanted to seek a grant for this event, then it's not just the HRC applying, the Parks Department would actually have the ability to apply because they are the co-presenter of this event. Just a thought.
That was a great job.
So I would say my best answer to that is nothing would change based off of this vote with the connection to our Parks Department. Parks would continue. I've already confirmed through Morris Heidi, the director of Parks. I've already confirmed with him that his group's support of this event, the opening and closing and cleaning of the restrooms, making sure, Nina and I had a conversation prior to this event that we had Parks Department go out and clean it up. We had some graffiti and some vandalism issues prior to the event. We sent our crews out there, made sure that it was cleaned up and corrected, painted over, whatever prior to. All of that would remain the same. Where things get a little bit sticky, and unfortunately I can't give you a definite yes or no, is when the HRC decides that they want to come to the city and present, which I would be the one presenting to the assistant city manager and city manager, what we call a budget scenario, which would be, the HRC would like to request a budget of $500 per se. We want 400 of it to go to X event and 100 of it to go to X event. It would then be their decision and up to them to determine if we have the ability to be able to grant that. Having a budget and purchasing items for this particular skateboard event, I'm not going to lie, is going to be extremely sticky when it comes to our processing here. There are very specific things you are not allowed to purchase with those funds. Off the top of my head, for instance, gift cards. Gift cards are not allowed.
I was told that when I first started this. That's why I kept everybody back out of it and just kept saying in kind. I call everything in kind and call it a day because people have said this same conversation like it could go away if I start talking about money. I never wanted money because I'm a good in kind girl. I'll beg out there forever. So that's why I'm so funny about this, had these conversations. But to Meredith's point, what if some sponsor or somebody wanted to come in with $500? I mean, one of these skateboard people from New York, someone said they have been told about it. So that's why I'm just scared to like mess it up. So if we shouldn't ask for money yet, but Meredith is saying in the future, you maybe to get, grants. But I have asked for things, but that's why I knew some things you just can never get. They said, there's no money involved, Nina. I said, okay.
Yeah. So just to ease the city staffers on here, I understand the whole issue of asking for money. I'm not scared one bit to ask my city for money. I see them approve and spend millions of dollars every meeting. And so for us to ask for a little $500 here, I ain't scared. I'll ask. And if they want to shut us down, we will continue to put on a festival regardless of whether they like it or not. So I am not scared.
I'm scared. That is not scared, and that's all.
I am not scared because I mean, if the city, if that's the type of, if that's the pushback we're going to get as an organization, a committee of the city to be doing good things in our committee, we can shut this Human Relations Commission down. The city doesn't have to touch it, and there are other community organizations that will pick up this torch and they will continue this tradition. So I ain't scared to ask for money at all, Nina. And we will make sure that this, whether it's under our hat or whether it's under another community organization's hat, this skateboard festival will continue. And that's my soapbox. But I don't ask, I understand. And I'm not asking any comments from city staffers. They don't have to. They can just politely keep their
microphones on mute.
You don't have to say anything. That's all bad talk.
To Sam's point, I think to circle back, if so, I agree. I think we'll be able to find funding and support. Keeping the autonomy with the HRC is important. It would be nice this year as we're planning, then Nina, that if money is not something we want to tag to the council or ask the Parks Department for, which they probably can't as a line item in their budget, could we take advantage of the Parks Department Facebook page? Can we get guaranteed Facebook social promotion? Can they, at least do the in-kind that they can do to make sure it has equal advertisement and PR support, everything else that is not monetary?
Oh, my.
So I agree. I think to circle back, if so, I agree. I think we'll be able to find funding and support. Keeping the autonomy with the HRC is important. It would be nice this year as we're planning, then Nina, that if money is not something we want to tag to the council or ask the Parks Department for, which they probably can't as a line item in their budget, could we take advantage of the Parks Department Facebook page? Can we get guaranteed Facebook social promotion? Can they, at least do the in-kind that they can do to make sure it has equal advertisement and PR support, everything else that is not monetary?
Yeah, so regardless of what, you know, again, ease of mind here, nothing will change with the Parks Department. So you're still going to have the city staff, you're still going to have the individual, I mean, everything that they've done, the trophies, all of that, none of that is going to change. It's the above and beyond that I have to figure out, and I have to figure out today by 5 p.m. because all budget scenarios, all budget line items, all of it is due absolutely no later than 4:59 today.
Got you. And so I'm not worried about that. I think it'll continue to move forward the way it has previously. But I'm just telling Nina, I'll ask for money. I ain't scared.
Hey, Thad, I need some extra money on something else. I'm going to call you in for that as well. So that you can sit in and help me.
I'll find people to ask. All right. So the other thing on here is did we vote? We didn't vote. Did we vote? We did not vote. So we have a motion for the HRC to officially adopt the the Heritage Skateboard Competition as a hosting event.
And organizing.
I can second.
And we're organizing it. Okay.
Right. It's been seconded. And then all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Yay.
Yay.
And the other thing I have listed on here is the Ted Stillwell Heritage Award. Nina and Lupe, I've heard about it back in the day, but I don't know if it's still happening, if that's still happening.
Okay.
Go ahead, Nina.
Okay. Ted Stillwell is an excellent person that lives in our community. He has done everything for everyone. He draws all these murals. He knows all the heritage of Independence. So one year when we had a heritage festival, I was like, we having a Ted Stillwell Heritage Award. And he got it the first year. And it's kind of through the city too. And we did it in heritage festivals. We've done it in whatever. And it's just a plaque that they provide for people that keep our heritage and culture and independence. So it's not a day, it's not anything like that. So, and we
it was aligned with the Heritage Festival.
Yes, and then when it didn't do that, I had to align it with whatever exists now because I wanted to still keep going. So it's just a plaque and an honor, and it's more of a city thing. I'm going to say that's a city thing because they get the plaque, and it's about $30.
So another $50, I'm going to say a $50 budget for a plaque this year. If we could turn that in, Sam.
Even though they do it already in kind. I will say that they're doing it already, but I understand.
Let me find out do you know what group works with it? They may have already budgeted for that. I mean, the
group is Nina Falls, Human Relations, and the thing is, the person that gets it is the person that does the in-kind for the other festivals. So we really probably don't have to say that at all and leave it out, but I wanted to know people to know it exists, and he exists, and he's like 90-something years old. I just want people to be aware he exists. Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna add it to the list, just in case.
Well, and just to confirm whether or not it's in somebody's budget already somewhere. It's already, I don't know.
They definitely pay for it, whether they know it's in their budget or not. But no, I was just kidding, but I'm not kidding. So it should be official. I understand.
Okay, so that's on the that's all I have on the list. The events that were listed here that I just wanted to get clarification on. So with that, is there any more questions, comments, or concerns about what we've talked about today? No one? So just to recap, Meredith is going to be creating a survey that we can share with other community organizations to get their input about what they're doing to honor the laid out cultural and heritage celebrations of the months throughout the year. And we look forward to that. And then we are officially I think it's again, because I know that it was at one time, but officially again, we are the hosting organization of the Independence Heritage Skateboard Competition. I'm excited to see how that can grow by getting some really good roots in there. Nina is already the roots of that. And then I'm excited that we're going to continue the Ted Stillwood Heritage Award. I think it's important to honor those people who are living that independence heritage every day. So I think that's exciting. And with that, I have nothing else. Is there, Sam, anything else that we need to address?
No, you got
Nina,
it.
you have a hand up.
Two more things. One to think about in the future, one to think about now. We usually and have gone to the Independence volunteer breakfast. You get to meet the people and hobnob and meet your police chief and do things. We've been to it before, and you have to get your name on the list. This March 22nd this year. And so I just wanted to know, can we keep putting our name on the list as the human relations people so we can, it's like from 8 to 10, you just kind of casually go in, Lupe goes, I go, but we did it through human relations because we volunteer a lot in the community and you can meet people that you need to know.
Nina, I am so sorry I didn't follow up with you on that. This morning was a little hectic.
Oh, no.
When I do my introduction email, I'm going to send out clarification on this because I talked with Meg last week on it and she was still unaware that a date and time had been set and that it was going to happen. So before yet, the first part of your question was, yes, you can certainly remain signing up under HRC. There's no issue with that. However, let me verify with Meg that it really is March 22nd from 8 to 10 before we move forward. And I will put that in that introduction email when I introduce Aaron and Lindsay.
Okay, and
Sorry
then if it is, oh, no, Sam, I was just saying if it does go on, because it was on, I actually got the date off the internet, but if it still goes on, can you put every member as, yeah, that's the only reason I knew. Can you put everybody out there as being invited? Because you have to put our names in some kind of pot, some mysterious pot that I don't know where it exists.
Yes, ma'am, you got it.
And then in the future, I would like to talk about in the future still being human relations. When I first heard about it, I read about what we're supposed to be doing. It always said a fair housing, and the human relations is your fair housing board to get HUD funds for the city. I read that on a line item when I read through what reason would I even join. I always read what people do before I join things. And so can we just remember that in the future to talk about, at least so we'll know if we're having any housing situations. We don't have to mediate them, even though that was our job originally as human relations. We don't have to mediate it if, that's gone to another person, but I would like to know who that person is we are still supposed to be connected to, because that is part of our responsibilities as human relations in every city across the United States. I just want to know who that person is we go to. And if it's like 3 people that they can say, we did have 3 situations, they're resolved, and just, send us a little blurb. So if it's something that we're supposed to be aware of, because I think that's one of our responsibilities. It was in the original human relations thing I read when I joined. So I just want to keep it out there that we may have to still do that. Talk about it in the future. Mm-hmm.
And to build on top of that, before we just close this meeting, we're almost there. Sorry. There was develop a communication survey. So it was a way for the public to be able to get a hold of us. Was there any movement on that? I just saw it written down here that develop a communication survey. Is that what that was about?
All I know is that when I joined human relations, that's one of our responsibilities.
No,
I remember that's being said at our meeting because we brought that up once before. Yeah, so if you just
it was on goal number 3 of this, the thing. There was something, and it was done in the 4th quarter of last year, and I added develop a communication survey. And I was just wanted to follow up on that to see if there was one that we had worked on, or is it, and I remember talking about it. It was a way for the public to be able to
I remember
file an issue with human relations, like get a hold of us to say, hey, here's an issue, kind of a thing.
Yeah, I think we talked about something being on the city's website, but I don't think we developed anything unless staff happened to.
No, so that happened right as Mark and I were kind of changing over.
Right.
Mark went to staff, asked him if that was possible, feasible, if there was a way to have some sort of continued open portal, if you will, to be able to make contact with the human relations. And currently we don't have the ability to do that. Currently, the HRC doesn't have like an hrc@indeptmo.org type email address that they would be able to use that would be connected. When, and Becky can correct me, but when an individual goes on to the website for the HRC as the staff liaison and as members of the HRC, your emails are there. So we can certainly put something on there that's, or maybe that's internal only. Is that internal, Becky? Sorry, my apologies.
Yeah, that's internal. That's not on the public website. Just the names of the commission members are on the public website.
Okay, so if an individual had an issue that they wanted to be able to address with, say, the chair or the staff liaison of this particular one, they would reach out to your office, Becky, to be able to retrieve that information?
Oh, let me double check. The staff liaison might be on the public site. Give me 2 seconds, please.
It may be something while she's checking on that. It may be something where we can put like a sentence on there, for questions, concerns, any comments that, for the HRC, please contact, and then, have the staff liaison information. And then that would be something that I would send to you guys as the HRC as a blind copy. And then if further discussion is needed, then obviously.
I love it. I think that's the most important thing, is that we can share to the public. Here's your point of contact, kind of a thing.
Yes, right. And there is a point of contact. It's a gentleman. He works at his desk. It's right there at the desk where you pay your bills. He takes in anything that is about unfair housing or whatever. It's someone that does that. Lupe used to get them when she was on Human Relations, right, Lupe? And she actually had to mediate them. So this was one of those things we were supposed to do, but it kind of went away. I didn't want to have to do that. It's just that we're supposed to at least be aware of that at all times. And if that gentleman, and I don't know his name, his desk, if you ask around, they'll know who it is. If he could just let us know. There were 3 complaints, and we just want you to know.
And we don't have to figure this all out right now. So maybe by next time, if we can if whatever information you or Becky figure out about what exists, and just let us know how we can, and then we can decide if that's acceptable or we need to adjust anything.
Yeah, and the contact information isn't on the public site, but I think we could probably add like the staff liaison email to the public site pretty easily. So we'll get that taken care of before the next meeting.
Awesome. All right. I have nothing else. Nothing else. So, thank you all so much. I appreciate your all's hard work, and I look forward to seeing you soon.
Thanks, you guys.
Meeting adjourned, I guess.